You know the feeling. You watch someone with half your brain power and a fraction of your capability capture the success you want, while you're still sitting on the sidelines. They aren't beating you because they have some secret knowledge. The obstacle keeping you stuck is the habit of talking yourself out of opportunities before you even take the first step. Most smart people operate as if there is an invisible checklist to complete. You assume you need to reach some elite threshold of mastery, or that a mysterious authority figure will eventually give you permission to begin. This is the cost of high intelligence. Self-awareness acts like a spotlight that focuses exclusively on the gaps in your knowledge, keeping you frozen while you wait for a feeling of readiness that never arrives. Meanwhile, the amateur doesn't see those gaps. They lack the necessary context to realize what skills they are missing. They show up loud and completely unbothered by their own lack of qualification. This chart models the Dunning-Kruger Effect. We plot confidence here on the vertical axis and competence on the horizontal. Notice this sharp spike in confidence right at the starting line, where actual competence is at its lowest. Because these beginners don't know enough to see the risks, they operate without the friction of doubt. This lack of mental resistance allows them to start moving immediately. While a more competent person is still mapping out potential failures, the amateur is already gathering the real-world experience that builds actual skill. The market does not check qualifications. It simply defaults to rewarding whoever is visible and whoever moves with unhesitating speed. It is a common frustration. You see clueless founders and half-baked influencers dominating spaces they have no business leading. But there is a mechanical reason this happens. Audiences crave certainty. People will follow whoever seems the most sure of themselves, even if that person is entirely wrong. Compare that to the isolated expert. You sit alone, reading more books and hoarding knowledge purely to avoid looking like a fraud in public. But potential is not a marketable currency. Your hidden talent and carefully gathered knowledge hold zero value if they are never put into motion or exposed to the public. The world doesn't hunt for hidden geniuses to reward them. It rewards consistent, loud presence over quiet potential. Most of us treat confidence like a baseline emotion that must be earned through exhaustive study before we are allowed to make a move. In reality, confidence is a strategic choice. It is a decision to posture powerfully and take action while you still feel unqualified to do so. True confidence follows a mechanical cycle. You step into friction and force yourself to act. That action allows you to adapt, which leads to progress, and the cycle repeats. Every loop generates a tiny, immediate win. Those external wins create undeniable evidence of your ability. Collecting that evidence is the only mechanism that builds genuine internal certainty. Acting while you are scared rewires your nervous system. You teach your brain that failure is not fatal, and that initial terror transforms into a baseline of personal power. Stop fighting the messy part of the learning curve and consciously choose to write it instead. Accept that your first pitch will be clunky and your first launch will likely underwhelm. Those outcomes are expected. Hiding from that necessary public embarrassment means hiding from actual growth. You cannot build a skill in a vacuum. Moving fast and failing out in the open gives you direct market feedback. This feedback loop shortens the distance between your current mistakes and actual mastery. Early incompetence serves as a mandatory requirement for growth. It is the necessary starting point for anyone aiming to become an undeniable expert. To override your fear, you need a strict operational shift. You must replace the goal of perfect quality with the goal of raw volume. Set a rigid window, 30 to 90 days. During that time, the only metric that matters is shipping something every single day. No second guessing allowed. Track your daily inputs and ignore the immediate results. Success is simply a matter of doing your part today and repeating it tomorrow. By tracking daily output instead of quality, you undergo an identity shift. You stop being someone who collects information and start being someone who produces results. Life moves on whether you are ready or not. Others will pass you simply because they had the guts to start. True confidence belongs to those willing to step into the ring today.